I am back. Take two. Take two. Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me. I will let you come back into the chat so I'll know before I get started again. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I think sometimes YouTube be messing with my live and it'll um, mess with the sound. Hopefully, the last live, all of it wasn't muted. I try to come on and ask if you can do a sound check and look for someone to confirm. And I thought I had confirmation that I could be heard. Can you hear me? Please like the video. Are you able to hear me? This is take two of the live, the last live, the sound. Okay, thank you so much. I have a lot to talk about, and I'm going to let some more people come in here because I want to bring clarity to what's going on right now with this back and forth between the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. Yesterday, I learned some information that kind of helped bring things full circle for me. Uh, so, you all let me know in the comments what's your understanding as to what the battle is between the Republican Party and the Democratic Party when it comes to the subsidies, the extension of the subsidies onto the ACA, the Affordable Care Act. Good morning, good morning. Come on in, like the video. Like the video, like, share, and subscribe. Got a lot of updates for you. Happy Wednesday, happy hump day. Ride along with me into the office. This is a Wednesday edition of Car Chronicles. I didn't have it on my list to talk about this, but it was something that I learned last night. The last thing that I kind of was listening to before bed, and it was centered around the situation with the upcoming deadline or expiration of the subsidies, the government subsidies to the ACA, the Affordable Care Act. There are about 22 million people in the U.S. who currently benefit from subsidies or who currently are on the Affordable Care Act, the ACA. So about 22 million people are impacted. This argument goes back to even when you remember, I was when the government was shut down, what, about a month ago? Remember, the government was shut down. Democrats would get on TV every day, talk for 30 minutes. Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, would call it the Democrat shutdown. Democrat Hakeem Jeffries would call it the Republican government shutdown. But the root of it was the subsidies, the ACA, these credits that were up to expire. The Democratic Party was holding out their vote for this whole the government shutdown. They were holding their vote because they wanted the Republicans to commit to not allowing for the credits to expire, whereas the Republicans were they're not interested, as we see, they're not interested in these credits. So yesterday I got to learn some information as to why they're not interested in carrying out these credits. And it goes beyond, okay, it's funds that the government have to pay for. It's deeper than that, which is what I came to learn. Please like the video. So yesterday, as I was doing my daily deep dive into politics, understand what the hell going on, because that's what I do. I listened to some people talk about the ACA, these credits that are due to expire, and the whys behind why the Republican Party does not want to extend them. Listen up, buttercups, and like the video. Listen up. The reason why they're saying they do not want to extend these subsidies is because they're like, the taxpayers, we, the American people taxpayers, we are paying money into something. It's almost like, say you go to a store, you're in Walmart. Walmart has a scarf for sale, and they're saying this scarf is $1,000, but nobody else in the area has scarves for sale. But they're like, we got scarves and we let them go for $1,000. You know good and well the scarf is not worth $1,000. You know it's not worth $1,000. But what are your only options? You like, but I got to break down and buy this $1,000 scarf, even though at best it's worth 15, maybe $20. So what the Republicans are saying is that basically healthcare right now is so high to where instead of there being some type of enforcement to have these big, large healthcare providers reduce the cost, the government is like, yo, we're not going to press you with lowering the cost of healthcare. We're just going to give money to the people to just help offset the cost. So therefore, they're just not paying out all that money out of their pocket. So back to the $1,000 scarf. Government like, all right, I know. I mean, it's overkill. Like $1,000 for a scarf, but it is what it is. Walmart gonna do what Walmart want to do. So since Walmart want to charge you $1,000, I'm gonna put $800 on it. I'm gonna put $800 on it. I'm gonna pay $800 towards that scarf. You got the other 200. I understand it shouldn't be $1,000, but hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. I'm gonna give you 800. You pay the other 200. And the people are like, all right, then bet, fine. I'll pay the $200 if you saying you gonna pay the 800. So what I've learned is that this is how the Republican Party is thinking when it comes to the insurance. They're like, what we've been doing is that the government, we've been just paying out the excess money, like we just been paying for it versus dealing with the root cause of the issue with forcing these insurance companies to lower the rates, to lower the amounts. Y'all see what I'm saying? I'm driving. I can't really get in the comments, but are y'all picking up what I'm dropping? What they're saying is that you need to be dealing with these insurance providers. Let's name the insurance provider. Who we got? Aetna. We got what? Kaiser out there. We got United Healthcare. We got Cigna. They're like, yo, they need to come down on their rates, because if they come down on their rates, we as the government don't have to give the people money to offset these high rates. Y'all see what I'm saying? I'm like, say it ain't so. They were like, why continue to just give credits to something that's super high, that's inflated? Why not deal with the fact that these people are charging way too much? You need to cut it. These prices too high. You need to cut it. That is what the Republican Party is on. They were like, these prices are too high. Y'all need to cut it. And we're not going to continue to give credit to towards these high A insurance. It's not fixing the problem. If we force the insurance companies to lower their rates, it'll be better for everybody, and people will then have more options with going around and just shopping for their insurance. It's putting the power back into the people's hands. So because I remember y'all when Obama first kicked off the Obamacare, I remember it being a big issue. He said that you can still keep your same doctor. Y'all remember he said that? And it became a big issue because by the time it was rolled out, people was coming to learn that that wasn't true. That they were kind of limited to like where they can kind of go with this insurance. It was something, it was insurance, But it wasn't true that they were able to pick and choose their doctors like what he initially put out there. Y'all remember that? I remember that. I voted for the man 2 times. I remember when he said that. I remember that. And people, it was a big thing because people were like, that's not true. He lied. You couldn't keep your healthcare provider. And I'm thinking the reason why that was is because not all healthcare providers were signed up to be a part of like the program. So here it is. Okay, if you were gonna have Obamacare, which is now ACA, it's pretty much the same thing. They just kind of changed the name. If you were gonna have it, it is what it is. You either gonna take this or you gonna go make it do what it do somewhere else and just come up with the money and pay them high ASS prices. So today the Republicans are like, yo, like we want to focus on the issue of pushing for these insurance providers to cut their rates to lower it. So therefore, there will be no need for the government to have to come in to put something on it. You see what I'm saying? Like sometimes you ain't got it. You need somebody else to come in and put a little something on it. That's why I use the analogy or the example of like a scarf at Walmart. The scarf at Walmart, $1,000. You know it's overpriced. You know it's overpriced. But Walmart, like, it is what it is. I don't know where else you're gonna get a scarf because you're gonna pay this $1,000 or you're gonna be without. Government coming in like, yo, I got 800 on it. I give you 800, Miss Taylor. Give you $800 on it. You come up with the other two to get that scarf. And people have been like, all right, then bet, fine. That's what we'll do, y'all. That is what has happened. So the government are like, F that, F all that. We ain't doing that ish no more. We ain't finna be paying these high ASS prices. We already got the debt in the trillion. What we got? We at what? 37 trillion dollars. So the government is just like, yo, like we not doing that stupid ish no more. That's dumb. Are you dumb? That's dumb. We're not doing that anymore. We're not doing that anymore. Y'all, peep game. Let me tell y'all what they did. Let me turn this heat down because I done got hot up in here. It's getting hot in here. Please like the video because I'm telling y'all some stuff today. I tell y'all some stuff every time I go live. But listen up, buttercups. Listen up. They said, so the Republican parties, let me tell y'all how they tested this ish out because it's a lot of fraud taking place. A lot of y'all still on the slow bus thinking that illegals are not getting access to the benefits here in the U.S. That's a mother freaking lie. I repeat for the people in the back. That is a mother freaking lie. They benefiting all day long. They benefiting harder and faster than you. You better ask somebody. So let me tell you what they doing. So the Republican Party, they was like, all right, then we finna test this ish out. We finna test this ish out. They got 24 people to complete applications for the ACA, the Affordable Care Act, to apply for it. This is how they tested it out. Y'all listen up. I'm not making this ish up. It's out there. The Republicans got 24 people to complete applications. I say complete applications, but baby, they were incomplete applications because these applications didn't have the proper information on, like, i.e., social security number. These applications didn't have no social security number on it. W-2, all the, y'all, Google ACA, look up whatever the application is that you need to fill out and y'all look that up. Whatever that information that you see on there, normally you expect that it's supposed to be completely filled out. You're supposed to fill in the blanks, right? Well, that's not what happened. These 24 people that the Republicans got to test out this flawed, crooked system that we got here in the USA that we call ACA. They got 24 people to complete the application and not include pertinent information such as like your social security, date of birth, all of that. I have not seen exactly what the form looked like, but they were like basically the pertinent information that you need to support that you belong here, that you are legit. The people who were completing the applications didn't have it. Bet, submit. They said out of 24 applications submitted, y'all, I'm gonna let y'all guess. Put it in the chat. We about to play a game. 24 applications submitted. How many of those 24 applications do you think was kicked back as denied due to maybe incomplete application or unable to verify information? How many? I done told y'all it was 24 of them submitted. I need for you to drop the number on how many do you think that was approved? How many of the 24 do you think was approved? How many? I done told y'all these people. So you got people who left the part blank for the social security part. You got the part left blank for like the date of birth, like the pertinent information. How many was approved out of 24? I was like, I know you effing lying. Lauren said all of it. How about 23 of them? 23 out of the 24 was approved. I don't know if that was just one person there saying, I know you effing lying, that decided to do their job one day, that said hell to the no to that one, because 23 of them was approved. They said they found there was a single social security number that was being used by, it was like over 100 people that was using a dead person's social security number. Multiple people, I think they said it was about 150 people all using the same one social security number. And that person is not alive actually who the social security number belongs to. Y'all, this, I ain't making this issue up. Y'all can go to the internet, Google. I be listening to like the different like YouTube videos, because I, have a long ride, when I go into the office. That's why in the morning I do my car chronicles. Usually in the afternoon, that's my woosah moment. I don't be trying to do live. Every now and then, I bless you, I do y'all a car chronicle in the PM, but it don't happen that often. It don't happen that often, because a lot of times I'm using that as an opportunity to get caught up on the latest shenanigans. So it's out there. It is out there. 24 applications, 23 of them approved. So miss me with that ain't nobody here getting government benefits who don't belong here. That's a mother freaking lie. That is a mother freaking lie. So with the Republican Party, they like, yo, F that. We not doing that no more. It's a new day. If y'all ain't trying to jump on the bandwagon to help fix this situation, then y'all just finna be SOL. Because what we not gonna do is continue to do business as usual in an effed up way. Think about like the amount of money that has been paid out fraudulently. It's crazy. I said, OMG. It makes sense. So with that being said, I am on the side of, okay, it makes sense. Let's tackle the issue centered around just the cost of the medical insurance. Because they're like, yo, we don't want to be dealing with having to give y'all credits to offset your insurance. We'd rather just deal with these companies directly and be like, yo, y'all need to cut y'all prices. Therefore, people have the choice and the freedom. They have the choice and the freedom to go wherever they want to go, to pick whatever insurance provider they want to pick, because the prices are not inflated. Y'all remember that guy who murked the guy? Well, let me just say this. He is on trial. Y'all know about that young guy who on trial right now for allegedly offing. I'm saying allegedly because I don't know if he pleading innocent. But the guy in New York, the United Healthcare guy who got off, y'all remember that? That was like last year, like this time last year, where he was off. Y'all, I was clutching my invisible pearls when I would read the comments on different videos centered around the case. Where, you know how normally when somebody died, people like RIP. Okay, y'all know Trump real different. You might not necessarily always get the RIP with Trump. You're gonna get, because the way Trump talked about that man that just died. But anyway, a normal person gonna do a RIP and tell the family, listen, you in my prayers, keep your head up and keep it pushing. Y'all, with that young guy, and when I would read the comments, y'all, there were so many people celebrating what he did. I was like, oh my God, it was just crazy because so many people are not happy with the medical system today. Like, they pay out all this money, and then when they need to get claims approved, that the claims are denied, and they just mad. They pissed off. So when the guy, y'all can put his name in the chat. I can't think of it right now. I wonder if he Italian. To me, the name sounds Italian. I just can't think of it right now. But is his last name Luigi or something like that? But so many people, like, I wonder if they ever even, if anybody put a GoFundMe out there for him, or if they paying for his legal fees, because people were so hyped about what he did, to where I just would not be surprised that if he were to, if somebody were to, if it hasn't been done already, set up like a GoFundMe or something to raise money for him and legal fees. I would not be surprised to see account just grow crazy. Like, when I say crazy, I'm talking about 200 plus $1,000 to help with this man legal fees, because that's how happy people were with what happened, because people are so unhappy with the medical industry and insurance and big pharma. Like, people are like pissed off because they feel like they're being robbed. They're paying out these money, the premiums and things, and when they need to use it and they need to get something covered, they're getting a hard no, they're getting denied. I talked about this earlier this year on this channel, where they're going to start having, like, they may have already implemented, but like in New York, they were going to be having like AI filtered through like claims. So, right now in most environment, or a lot of environments, the norm is that there is a person who's reviewing your claim and the details and things like that to determine whether or not it's eligible for a payout or not. Well, what I reported on in the past, and you can go do your research on it, is that I think it was going to be the state of New York. I'm going back on memory because you all have been covering political content since I think I started talking about it in February. And I was going hard in the pain up until a couple of months ago when I took a break. But I was going hard. And so I was coming to you all with a lot of these details, this information centered around the things that are going on in politics, the things that they're not talking about. Sometimes YouTube don't be here for what I say, so they'll kind of shadow ban me and mess with me and stuff like that. So I took a break and things like that. But if you go back and listen to my content, see the type of numbers I was doing on that content. It was thousands of people. This channel got millions of views because I bring the information to you that they don't really talk about. They don't deep dive in, but I'm going to talk about it. AI is now filtering through claims. So the first phase in some areas, in some of these companies, is they're having AI filter through claims. So when you get in that hard no, and then you ready to pop off and want to cut somebody out, usually maybe that'll be the time where you may start to kind of deal with a live person because AI ain't finna be with you cussing them out. So then they put Linda on the phone. So then you get to talking to Linda and you just can cuss her out, per usual. So that is what's happening. I talked about that. So look into that AI and how it's been embedded into insurance and claims. So a lot of people are not happy with the medical industry and insurance, big pharma and all of that. They making all this money and people are still, they got these medical bills. They're like, damn, why do I even got insurance? How many of y'all got insurance? They take them all your money out your check. You go get checked out. They in your face hollering like you need to still pay this amount up front. Copay, sometimes it's hundreds of dollars. Oh, baby, but don't think you still ain't finna get a bill in the mail. So you're like, well, damn, what was that I paid when I went to them folks? Like when at the counter, I ran them my card. Like, what was that for? Okay, so they're taking the money out your check. When you go into the doctor's office, then and there, more often than not, you're paying something then. Oh, and then you sitting at home, and then with your heels kicked up, thinking that it's all good in the hood until you open up that mail and then you see that there's a medical bill for some more monies that you owe. And how many of y'all be thinking like, damn, will I ever meet my deductible? Because, they got this thing where, okay, well, you got to hit your deductible before we start paying out 100. How many of y'all be hitting that number? It'd be like a dollar amount that you gotta hit, that you gotta pay out. And then like after that, I think they'll say, oh well, we'll start covering. But it'd be like this number, this crazy number that most people, like, people don't even be hitting that number. So baby, they ain't never paying all or nothing, because that little magic number that you supposed to hit for the deductible, I think they call it the deductible, that y'all know, that threshold. It might be like, okay, you gotta pay $1,400. After you pay your $1,400, then we come in as the savior and pick up the rest. But though you don't ever end up paying your $1,400. So y'all are y'all following me with the hustle? It's the hustle. It's the hustle for me. So the Republicans are like, that ish that she talking about right there, that's that ish that we need to be focusing on trying to fix. Because just throwing credits on top of the hustle, that's doing nothing. That's just helping y'all continue to get hustled. We as the government helping y'all continue to get hustled, because a lot of times these people gonna have these prices if they know you're gonna come through and pay for them. These insurance companies, y'all, they don't care who run them their coin, as long as they get it. They don't care if you got to go take out a loan, if you got to go holler at Uncle Sam, you got to, go talk to the politicians about putting a little something on it. They don't care. They like, listen, this is the cost. So if you want this coverage, you going to come up with the money. That's been their mindset. So they've been able to have these crazy rates the way they have been, because people been coming up with the money. So here's the thing. If people stop coming up with the money, then there's going to be like, damn, I guess we need to cut it. You need to cut it. We need to cut our rates, because people not coming through with the money. So with that being said, y'all, with that logic, I'm curious to see what these insurance providers' bottom line's finna look like next year, because a lot of people aren't going to have insurance. And guess what, y'all? Guess what? That means these insurance companies ain't finna be getting them fat checks like they was getting. Y'all, I'm like, as I'm talking to y'all, is really hitting me. They are going to be impacted, because it's 22 million people in America who benefit from the ACA. So peep game, y'all, like, really think about it. If the government ain't sliding them money, and they've been held up from these funds, where is this money coming from? They're going to take a hit. These insurance companies are going to take a big hit, because they're not going to be getting this excess money that they used to getting. Imagine them. It's almost like they're going to lose like 22 million customers. If 22 million people currently use it, and let's just say, hell, all 22, hell, let's just say, hell, if half of them still pay. I don't even know, probably, child, we probably gonna have a good 10 that's still gonna be still paying for some insurance full price. But think about all the customers that these insurance companies are going to lose, because they only have them because they're getting help with their bills being paid by the government. So if the government, it's almost like a parent cutting their kid off, like, yo, you 18 and you out here running amok and acting like you ain't got to listen to nobody because I'm grown. Y'all know how they do. I'm grown. I'm grown. They grown until they need something. Then as soon as they need something, oh, that go all out the window, and they back at trying to run your pockets and trying to see what you can put on something. But just yesterday they was hollering they was grown when you was trying to tell them to do something. Just yesterday they was grown. So these people now who rely on the government to pay their bills, their medical bills, they ain't gonna have it no more. So guess what? They're gonna be forced to go without. When I say every case that I've listened to where someone who says they were getting the ACA, the subsidies and things like that, without these subsidies, their insurance is doubled or tripled. Like, I have yet to hear someone talk about how, okay, without it, their insurance is at a certain amount, but they'll still be able to afford it. Like, when it double or triples, they still gonna be able to afford it. I ain't heard that. Listen, I ain't seen that interview yet. Y'all let me know what network y'all see that interview and put in the comments so I can go listen to what they said. Because that everybody who I hear speak about their personal experience, they're like, yo, she like my ish been finna go up double, triple. I was listening to a guy talk recently doing an interview. I think he's like a family of like six. I don't know. They deep over there in the house. And he was like, normally I pay like $800 for the insurance. That's something he's been able to afford. He was like, without the subsidies, my bill is going to go up to $2,500. And they were like, well, sir, can you afford that? He like, hey, up to the no, no, no. He said, no, I cannot. I cannot. I cannot afford that. I was able to afford the 800, but I can't afford $2,500. This is the situation it is. So I understand where the Republican Party is coming from, where they're like, no, we're not going to continue to put money onto something that's effed up. That's like y'all know y'all be having them clunker, them cars, and then it gets to a point to where it don't even make sense to continue to keep investing and putting money into the repair of that old car because it still keep breaking down. It's just old. You need to just go on and trade it, get you something else, do something different, because it's illogical to still keep putting money into something that's broken. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It's the same thing. The Republican Party, like, yo, this don't make sense. But Trump got something in the works with coming out with alternatives. They're saying, I think, sometime that information and things like that. There's no timeline of when. I think they asked Carol B. Lyon Levitt, that's the press secretary. I call her Carol B. Lyon Levitt. I think this day when I was listening to her talk, she didn't have her cross on. But she was saying like it's something that like he's working on. There's no date, but he is exploring better alternatives to what we got going on. Because they are not going to continue to pay into something that's broken like a clunker. They're not going to continue to put money on a clunker. They're not going to do it. So people are just going to have to go without because we ain't doing this. We're not doing this. That's basically what they're saying. We're not doing this because it doesn't work. It just runs the bill up. It doesn't work. Big Pharma, they know it. They know it. They know that historically, the previous generations, people, everybody has just been putting a little something on it. So it's the bill has been getting paid. The insurance company don't care who paying the bill, long as it get paid, right? That's anybody who running bills to you. They don't care if your mama gotta pay your electric bill. They like, okay, if you want some electricity, you better come up with the money. Even if you got a crowdfund, go sell fish plates and add a dessert and a drink for $9. Do what you need to do, but you need to pay this bill. We don't care where it comes from. That's how the insurance industry has been, and the money has been coming from you, and you. Us taxpayers, we've been paying for it. How many of you in this chat, like, how many of you want to continue to pay for it? I don't know. Some of y'all might be like, listen, Sheik, I'm willing to do it for the cause. I'm trying to get into heaven. I'm willing to do it for the cause. I'll pay. Are you willing to pay? Because that's what it comes down to with these benefits, whether it's the ACA credits, food stamps, all these things. You as a taxpayer, you're paying into these things. And a lot of you may not have ever used any of these benefits. And hopefully you will never need any of them. But if you do ever find yourself in a situation where you can use some help and supports, it would be nice to be able to benefit from things that the government has in place. But the sad reality is a lot of us, because I include myself, when we've been in situations where we were in need of a helping hand, we got a hard no. But though people who are over here illegally on a regular get the yes. They get the yes for the business loans. They get the yes for the EBT. They get the yes for the subsidized housing, the Section 8. They get the yes. How many of you have gotten the no and you paid into this ish? I know I have. I've talked about it on my channel multiple times. I know I have when I've been laid off and they were like, no. Well, why, ma'am? Why? Well, you get unemployment, man. That's $234 a week. Well, you still make too much money because you're getting unemployment. Mind you, you got Maria and Carlos who coming over here illegally, and they ain't paying into nothing that I'm paying into, and they ain't having to jump through. Who they getting? Okay, well, how much you need? Miss Maria, is that enough? I see you got 5 babies over there. Is that enough? You see what I'm saying? Y'all see how the conversation be different? And as we've been wondering how a lot of these people be over here all these years and they still don't get their citizenship, this goes into the why. Is because as long as they're not here legally and they're not on paper as being a legal citizen, they're able to get perks that citizens are does not do not qualify for. So they like, hell, I ain't finna mess that up. Why am I finna go and tell them people and try to become legal like them and have to pay full rent, have to pay full price for groceries when I can just stay in this status over here and get everything for the low low? Ain't nobody trying, these people ain't trying to go and be like me and pay full price. They be like, hell, you just mad, you just hating. How many of y'all have seen people on social media be talking about y'all just mad, y'all just hating, y'all just jealous because you got to go to work. You got to pay full price for rent. You got to pay full price for groceries. That's how they view it because they feel like they're getting over and they feel like they know something that we don't know, which a lot of them do. Child, these what we not gonna do is act like these people who benefiting from the government are dumb. Oh, you got to be smart to know how to hook and crook the system. How many of y'all know some of the smartest people you know, they just know the plug for everything. They know how to get through. Like we all know somebody who always know how to get through the. That's not a dumb person. That's not a dumb person. It's probably a person with low morale. But just because somebody's morale is low doesn't mean that they're dumb. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. Just like I told y'all yesterday on yesterday's Live Car Chronicles, if you weren't there, sorry for you. You need to subscribe and tap in. I'll be going in. I told y'all, don't think that just because somebody got degrees and letters behind their name or whatever, they the smartest cookies in the jar. No, no, no. Don't you're gonna be effed up in life if you running around thinking that the people who got all these advanced degrees and higher educations are the smartest people in the world. No, no, no. You have a lot of people in this world who are super smart, highly intelligent, and haven't even graduated high school, don't even have a high school diploma. There are so many ways to learn. I talked about it there yesterday. AI, there's so many ways to learn. You do not have to be in a brick and mortar, a traditional education environment to learn. My daughter, she's 15. She's like a brainiac in all the gifted classes. When she was in middle school, every day she was asking me about dropping out. Why do you want to drop out of school, baby? Why? She was like, because she was like, I don't need this school. She was like, I can learn whatever I need to learn from the internet. Y'all, my daughter is a gifted child. This is what she was saying. So what I'm saying is that just because somebody is in a brick and mortar, got all degrees in the world, don't mean that they're just super uber smart like that. No. So these people who are hooking and crooking the system, these are not dumb people. They're low morale, but they're not dumb. These are people who know something that you don't know. They have studied, they know what to say when they have to get in front of these people to do these interviews send around approval. They know what type of documentation receipts they need to provide, what kind of paperwork they need to they just know what you don't know. So they get out here and they be like, you just jealous, you this, you that, because you got to go to work. You got to go do it this way in order to get yours. I'm over here doing it this way to get mine. Y'all, the primary difference is the morale compass. It's morale. These are smart people, highly intelligent people. And it may be some of y'all on here. But I'm just saying, listen, Linda, listen. People out here getting to it. People are out here getting to it. So the Republican Party was like, nah, listen. She right, they getting to it. And we got to stop this. We have to stop this because these people are at home just getting to it. Y'all, do y'all view hackers as dumb people? The people who getting into your bank accounts and getting all your money? The people who sending you emails and some people are responding to them, doing whatever it is that they asking for you to do, and it results in basically the money's being sent over to they bank account somewhere offshore, whatever. Do you all classify these people as dumb? Let's check your intellect. Are these dumb people who are doing this? Absolutely not. If anything, the end user, y'all might consider them dumb. But sometimes y'all, like, even the smart people can still get got. Nobody's above getting got. It's just levels to this thing. Sometimes people game be up on 1,000 to where they even able to get somebody who ordinarily wouldn't have been able to get got, or they didn't think they would have been able to get got. So what they say never. I know I didn't have my experience. Listen, never say never. So what I'm saying is that we are dealing with smart people out here who are hooking and crooking. And let them tell it. Let them tell it. They just doing what they got to do out of survival. They like, listen, I just got to get mine. I got to get mine. I got responsibilities. Listen, Linda, listen. Listen, Linda, listen. That's why with the AI, my son, I talked about it yesterday on live. He's 17. He's interested in cybersecurity. And I asked him, I'm like, yo, son, listen, what side of the fence you want to work on? Because with this cybersecurity, you got the good guys and you got the bad guys. Because a hacker is a hacker. So once you know how to hack, you also know how to defend. You know what I'm saying? So, son, do you want to be on this defending side? Because I know you know how to get to it when it comes to this technology. What side do you want to be on? Because when you go to school, they teach you both. You learning how to hack, and then you're learning how to defend. One of the schools I took my son to, I thought it was so cool. In the classroom, the way they have it set up is that it's really like it got the computers, y'all, and it got this big screen in the front. So on the right side of the classrooms, that would be like your hackers. So all the hackers would sit on the right. And then on the left side of the classroom would be the defenders. So part of the lesson for the class with learning cybersecurity, the hackers is over here doing their thing, hacking away. But then you got the defenders over here blocking. They're trying to block. You see what I'm saying? You're learning both. You're learning both. That's why I say these people who are out here cooking and crooking, doing wrong for ish, they're not dumb. They're not dumb. It's just, it's a matter of what side you want to be. You want to be a good guy or you want to be a bad guy. But intellect ain't got ish to do with it. Intellect ain't got ish to do it. I bet you in prison, you got so many smart people that's locked up. It comes down to how you channel it. Just to be a D-boy, you got to be good with them numbers, right? You can't be no D-boy getting to the money and you don't know how to count. Where they do that at? How you know if you got your... Come on, some y'all. I'm talking today. How the freak you know if you got what you're supposed to have if you don't know how to freaking count? You got to be nice with that math. You got to be able to calculate that stuff. You got to be able to do that. Again, it's how you are utilizing your skills. So that's what I told myself. Hey, how we trying to do this? Because I know you're going to be real nice with this technology. And I don't want no feds coming knocking on my door talking about, let me holler at your son. If anything, they might be wanting to try to recruit him. That's how nice my son is with the technology. He get it from his daddy. He get it from his daddy. So I'm like, son, what side you want to be on? Because you can make your money doing it on the up and up. If you want to go work for the feds, go, but by all means. But what I'm saying, I want to make sure that you have the skill set to decide where you want to take this. Where you want to take this. Life is about choices. Life is about choices. I can't make the choices for you. I can present the information to you and tell you the pros and the cons. It's up to you to make it do what it do. And that's all of us. That's all of us. People out here are down bad a lot because of poor decision making, bad decisions. I was listening to an interview this morning with Scott Bessett. Scott is what's his title? He's the Treasury Secretary. And they were asking Scott, I think he was on, what network? Was it Fox Business? I don't know. But they was asking Scott about AI and the impact of just jobs in the future and things like that. And what advice does he give? What would he like to give to people, young kids out here that's trying to figure out what's going to be the next stage, what they're going to do in the next stage of their life? Kids that are getting out of high school, maybe some are just exiting college. He said, the kids, the youth, what y'all need to do is become AI native. You're like, gee, what is that? AI native. He was like, you need to learn how to freaking use AI. He said, because I was talking to a banker and I was asking them about their future and with jobs and what type of jobs they're going to have. And, you know, are they going to have fewer jobs, things like that? He was like, no, it comes down to in these environments, the shift of the jobs. So not so much it being really a numbers thing with less jobs. It's going to be a matter of, okay, when there are jobs, what sector these jobs will be in. You follow me? So for example, it may be fewer people needed in banking to be at the front counter. So let's just say there was 10 people that was at the front counter and they got rid of 8 of them. But they added 12 people behind the scenes behind the scenes in another area that where AI is being used, because what they're wanting is for people to be brought in who know how to use AI. See, AI is like a tool. You still got to have somebody still to know how to direct it. Even when you're using Chat GPT, you don't click on the Chat GPT and sit there and look at it. That's not how it works. Some of you might not knew how it worked, but I'm going to let you know. You don't click on it and you sit and just stare it. That's not how it works. You have to put information into it. You have to know what information to put into it in order for it to yield a response, the type of response that you may be looking for. So it starts with the information that you're first putting into it. So what the companies are saying is that, hey, we need for people, and this is anybody, I'm talking to saying this about young folks, but this can apply to anybody. You have to become familiar with AI. I talked about it yesterday. There is no way around it. I don't care if you don't like it. It don't even matter. It don't matter. Just like I told you, these insurance companies, it don't matter to them that their prices are too high and we said you need to cut it. It don't matter. They like it is what it is. So no need to fight what something is. You gotta figure out how to make it, how to work with it. So with AI, we have to figure out how to use it. Let's start there. We got to figure out how to use it. Then once we figure out how to use it, identify a sector, a company, a business or something, identify that and figure out how, what the knowledge that you now have with AI, how you can go to that company and be like, yo, I see you got this going on right here. I see that. But let me holler at you. Let me holler at you. I can help you with that. Well, how, Mr. Brown? How can you listen? AI is coming in and it's taking over, right? AI can help really make things more efficient. I know AI like the back of my hand. Why? Because I am an AI native. I know AI. I can help you with that. I can help you with the help with AI because I know what to feed into AI in order for it to yield the results that you want. Word? You think Mr. Brown ain't finna have Mr. Betts' ear? You think he ain't finna have his ear? That man finna be like, word, because all he's finna be hearing is money. Like, oh snap, he sound like he knows something. He can help me. That's what it comes down to. So when you become familiar with AI and know how it works, you can then take that knowledge to these different sectors and figure out like how to apply it to that. For example, banking industry. You learn AI, then you study enough to know how a banking industry can benefit from AI. You the plug, you got the knowledge. They will pay you for that. You come to them like, listen, I see y'all doing that way. That's dumb. That's outdated. Let me holler at you. I got something to show you. I can show you how you can do it 10 times faster, more efficiently, and make more money. Y'all know money is time. You think they not finna want to bring him on board because he coming in, he coming in talking a language. He like, yo, I can help you with that. I know what to put into AI to get the return that I need in order to make this better. Because here's the thing, they don't know. They know, okay, AI is out there, but not everybody know how to use AI. You know, AI, it's a tool. I kind of be playing around with it, but I don't know how to use it to the fullest extent like that. They just dropped ChatGPT, just dropped a new update recently, within maybe like the past week. I don't know. I learned about it over the weekend. I think it's ChatGPT 5.2. I think it's called 5.2. It may be 5.3. You can put it in the comments, but it's the updated version. They dropped theirs, I think, after Gemini, after Google did their little new update or whatever. So AI is a thing, and everybody's working to try to make their tool better. So start there with learning it, and you don't have to pay lots of money to learn it either. You can try to learn it on your own, or you can take up little classes or whatever, but go to Chat GPT. That's what I do. If you want to learn how to do something, take it to Chat GPT and ask for it to direct you on how you can go about learning to do said thing. And if you want to do it for the low or the free, make sure you put that also in Chat GPT. Be as specific as possible when you're going to Chat GPT, because it's going to return the information based off of how you're entering it. So if you're wanting information and you're wanting to go a route that's going to be the fastest, cheapest, and all of that, put in keywords. Hey, tell me the quickest way to get wherever. Tell me the cheapest way to get whatever. Y'all see what I'm saying? You got to put that in there, and it's going to kick back, and it's going to kick back a lot of information, and it's going to be a lot. And some of the information may have you to form additional questions. So treat it like a person where you're having a dialogue with. As it returns information, if you want a better breakdown or greater understanding of whatever it returned, ask the question. Can you clarify more? Can you give me examples? Ask all of that. Chat GPT will do that. That is the format. That's the AI platform that I use. But there's different ones, but that's the one that I've used that I'm most comfortable with right now. But for those of you who are listening and you trying to figure out where you gonna fit in this whole AI situation, it will behoove you to learn AI, to gain an understanding on how it works, to identify an industry that could benefit from AI, and be able to explain to said person, business owner, how AI can help them, and how with your services you can direct AI to do said things. Because remember, they're going to understand like AI can help, but they don't know how. That's where you come in there. Becoming an AI native, you're going to be the plug. You're going to be able to like, listen, just hire me. Don't even worry about that. I mean, you can explain to them, but listen, you don't want to give them all the sauce, you know. You don't want to tell them the exact command, because remember, they need you for that. You just be like, listen, let's just let me do a test run. Give me 30 days. If you're not happy with what I've done for you and your business in 30 days, then I'm gonna just be on. I'm gonna be packing, gone away. They're gonna be happy with your services. You can agree to a certain low amount, and if they happy with your services, the agreement could be to renegotiate your pay. You see what I'm saying? You got to bargain with these people when they be like, "Oh shit, you done came in and changed the game." He be like, Mr. Brown, like, "Oh, you like that, huh? You like that, huh? All right then, all right then. I got more of that. I got more of that. Let's talk about compensation." You think Mr. Betts ain't gonna be willing to pay Mr. Brown whatever he asking for if he done came in and changed the game? Changing the game equates to money. Made the company more money, um, marketed the company better, whatever to enhance the business. Yeah, that business owner's gonna be like, bet, like I'm willing to. I'm what? Okay, what you? All right then. That's all you want. You got benefits, Mr. Brown, because we got for them too. What you want? And that's what it's about, is leveraging. Listen, y'all better leverage like them Democrats was trying to leverage they vote during the government shutdown. It didn't work, but listen, they tried it. They was trying to leverage their vote for them credits, them subsidies. You better leverage your skills. You better leverage your skills. What do you have that you can leverage? What do you know better than probably anybody else? What's your super? I call it your superpower. What's your skill? What's your superpower? Because we all have one. We all got that thing to where you can get down on it with like nobody else. We all got that thing. Now the goal or the challenge is to figure out how we can make that thing work for us, how we can turn that into a lucrative business. What's your thing? What's your superpower? Take that to AI. Take it to AI. Ask AI how it can help you to make money from that set skill set. AI get you all the way together. The thing about AI is that you just got to be willing to do the work and do what it says, because it's gonna give you the blueprint. It's gonna be on his Jay Z the blueprint. It's gonna give you the blueprint, but it's just up to you if you are gonna follow it. And very few people follow instructions the way they supposed to. Successful people know how to follow instructions. That's what I've learned. Successful people are good learners. Okay, virtual. Successful people are good learners. They're good students. How about that? Successful people are good students. Are you a good student? A good student is a good listener. We have to become good students, because that's how we're going to learn and be able to get to the next level. That's what the successful people have in common. They're great students. We're all capable of learning, but are you a good student? Being a good student is it's listening. It's listening. Everybody's not most people aren't good listeners. Everybody got something to say. That's what I work on, like being a listener, to being a better listener, because it helps me with gaining an understanding of what's playing out. So when I just sit and like listen, so that's why I say, like in the evenings when I'm not doing lives, I'm listening. I'm listening to the both sides, Democrat side, Republican side, because I'm trying to understand what the argument is. Because when I get an understanding, I can come out here on live and bring it to you all to help you all understand what's going on, where the disconnect is. And when it comes to these ACA credits, the is centered around the cost of insurance. The government saying that the insurance, these insurance providers rates are too dang. They're saying there's no reason why we should have to come in and help the people pay their medical bills, their insurance. If the prices weren't so high, if they weren't as high as they are, then there would be no subsidies needed. Subsidies are needed because the cost is too high. You see what I'm saying? They're like, let's fix the cost. Let's fix the cost of the insurance. Because if you lower the cost of the insurance to something that's affordable to the average people, they don't need somebody to come in to offset. You know what I'm saying? You don't need a discount. That's like draws. Socks and draws. Do you need discounts on your socks and draws? No, because they're priced adequately. So you don't need to go and take out a loan to get some socks and draws. This is what I'm saying, is that it needs to make sense. Healthcare does not make, the cost of healthcare doesn't make sense. It's something that we all need, but the way that they got it priced in a way to where only people in a certain social economic class can afford it without having to have subsidies. That's crazy. That's crazy. Like the video. Kathy said, good student. I like that. I like that too. It's something, that I learned as I was listening, when I took my little break for a couple of months, I was woo side. Sometimes I got to woo side. You better woo side too, because it's a lot going on out here. And that's the thing that, when I just was tapped in into just a whole nother world outside of politics. That's what I learned, is that successful people, they're good students. Are you a good student? How can you become a good student? How can you become a better student? How about that? That's what I'm working on. Become a rooted in being able to follow instructions. So, like I said, when you go to Chat T and it's giving you listen, that's the plug. It's telling you what to do. Follow instructions. Do what it says. And here's the thing: if there's a part where you don't even understand, say that. And I don't understand. Can you break this down for me some more? Can you direct me to some place where I can learn more about it? You can go deep with it. But that's part of that. We're lifetime learners. That's why I affectionately refer to my subscribers as honor students. Can you all still hear me? I see the change in numbers. I'm in a parking garage, so um, I don't know if you can still hear me okay. If it's dropping, let me know. Can you still hear me? Can you hear me okay? Can you all hear me okay? So, we can get to it. Um, Next year, I'm speaking on get to it. Hey, thanks, Tim. Next year, the Trump administration is planning to cut the check. So y'all remember Trump been talking about all this money from the tariffs that our country has made, and right now it's under review for the Supreme Court. With the Supreme Court, they're reviewing it to determine if he collected the tariffs lawfully, and if they conclude that he didn't, they can require for him to basically reverse everything. I guess get them folks their money back. So here's the thing. The Trump administration are like, yo, we didn't got to the money so hard through these tariffs to where we are going to cut checks for up to $2,000. So in a household, so if you have two working adults in the household, so like, use myself an example. My husband and I, we both work. We file taxes. Each of us will be entitled to up to $1,000 in additional tax refund. So that's 1,000 plus 1,000. That's $2,000 in our household, in a household. So if it's just one working adult, 1,000. If it's two working adults, $2,000. So that's money. So y'all remember the big beautiful bill? We talked about that several lives ago, a lot over the summertime. In the big beautiful bill, there was 100 to 150 billion dollars of tax savings that was a part of that. That's supposed to take effect starting January 1st. But it's being retroactive to, last year. So that means that like these credits and things, it'll be applied on your 2025. I guess it's the 2025 tax returns that is from the filings from the 2024 year 2024. So this money will be paid out during the first and the second quarter. So the sooner you file your taxes, the sooner you're able to get your money. See what I'm saying? So some people, file their taxes late. So even if you file it late, you can get it. But of course, if you really want that money like early, you want to file as soon as you're able to file your taxes to get the money. That is what they're saying they're doing in the first quarter and the second quarter. This is all a part of the big beautiful bill. What else I learned? What else I learned? Let's talk about this with the economy. They said that the U.S. So apparently the U.S. job report is out, and there were 75,000 private jobs added over the past 3 months on average, and 88,000 jobs over the past year. So this is for 2025. But this year, y'all, it was 275,000 federal jobs lost, nearing 300,000. So there were a lot of federal jobs lost, but there was, a good number of private jobs added. So just anything non-federal. But even with that being said, majority of the jobs that were added out of the 88,000 were jobs added for the medical field, healthcare. 64,000 jobs that were added this year were in the field of healthcare. So to me, but they said there's about 7 million still job openings still out there. So right now, you all, there's a lot of job openings for in fields that are more like blue collar type work, machinery work. Apparently there's not a lot of people who run to go do those like hard laborious type jobs. Those are the jobs that mainly, I guess, people would get skills through the trade schools. But so there's a lot of jobs out there for those fields. So as people are thinking about their future and types of jobs that they can try to gain experience for, look into blue collar jobs. So things dealing with like factories, machinery, what else? HVAC, plumbing. There are a lot of jobs in these areas. I've learned also that there are companies and things that offer like apprenticeships. Remember, I say there's opportunities out there to learn for the free, but people don't take advantage of them. A lot of people don't know of said job, opportunities out there. But then you got people who are aware, but they just not interested in getting their hands dirty and going into those type of fields. But they're like 6-figure earning fields. Let me know at the chat, any of you who are in the field of HVAC, plumbing, machinery, electrician, working on elevators, working on escalators. Baby, I have come to learn that there is money in these fields, like 6-figure money. This is what I've learned. There are a lot of job opportunities out there in these fields that people aren't exploring in high numbers. They're not exploring them in high numbers. But as I talk about the medical field, 64,000 new jobs came about in the healthcare. So if that is your jam, the medical industry, right now there are more jobs in that industry than other, like, I guess when you maybe compare it to other, I guess, white collar jobs, the healthcare industry, there are jobs there. So if you do want to continue to kind of explore that field and up your skills in that area, there's a greater job growth there. So what it seems like is that healthcare, there's a great job growth because you got more people like interested in them. But then those blue collar jobs, there's a lot of job postings for them because there are fewer people who are interested in them or feel like they have the skill sets to maybe even work in them. See what I'm saying? Y'all look into it. Look into it. I also learned that the cost of oil right now is down $50 to $55. But child, it was up to $125 under Joe Biden. So as you're seeing, I talk, here in Georgia, I live in Georgia, Metro Atlanta, gas. I got gas last night. Um, I think I paid under $2.50 per gallon. Let me look at my receipt. Let me see. What I paid? I paid $2.44 a gallon for gas yesterday in Georgia. What is gas? What are the prices where you're located? So that's pretty good. So today, this morning, I learned that the cost of oil is down. I don't know if they charge it by the barrel. Is down to $55, but it was up to $125 underneath Joe Biden. So the price of gas, we do have to give that to Trump, the administration. It has gone down. The price of gas has gone down. That's a good thing. So that's something. We'll take it. We will take it. We will take it. Price of gas gone down. What else went down? We all know, the eggs was the craze at the top of the year. That went down. Um, Trump said the only thing that has gone up is your 401k and your stock. He said you Gucci in every other part of your life. So that's where we are with that. So y'all know somebody else who got opinions, strong opinions of their president? The White House Chief of Staff, Susie Wiles. Did any of y'all see that interview she did with Vanity Fair? Or read it? I guess you would have to read it because Vanity Fair is like a magazine. So I guess you would have to read it. But yesterday I was hearing, different news that yesterday and today, different news outlets talk about it. So I have some of the talking points from the interview that I want to quickly share with you all. Um, but it's quite interesting. It is quite interesting and surprising. So Susie Wiles, she's one of them people you will see her, but you don't hear her. So that's what I think what makes this whole situation that much more interesting is because you see her, but you don't really hear her. But it seems like she's one of them people when you hear her, baby, you hear her. When you hear her, you hear her. It's kind of like how my kids view me like, mama don't do too much, but like when she start talking, baby, when you got mama's attention, baby. So Susie Wiles seemed to be one of those people to where it's just like she's kind of quiet in the cut, but when she step out, she got some things to say. So some of the things that she had to say, like nobody was exempt, it seemed like. So she did have some things to say about Trump, um, JD Vance, and Pam Bondi. So let me tell you what she said about Trump. She described Trump as having an alcoholic personality. Now, some of you may or may not know, but Trump doesn't drink. And he said he doesn't drink because I think he lost a brother due to alcoholism. Like, so he just vowed to like, I don't even want none of that stuff. So I think he's never had a drink in his life. So all this energy that you see in Trump, you can't ever say, oh, he drunk. Like that is just all him. As I like to call it, natural high. Because I don't be drinking like that. I've had drinks, but I'm not a drinker. I'm just drinker, coffee. Listen, this is natural. Your girl is just natural. This all this energy is natural, no coffee. So she describes Trump as having an alcoholic personality. She characterized that by having an obsessive nature and a belief that there is nothing he can't do. So she was like, Trump has this, there isn't anything that I can't do attitude. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. Again, as I talked about in my live, it's a lot of times not what you do, it's how you do it. And with Trump, it's heavy on his how. It's heavy on his how. It's just it's like we want you to be confident. We love that. We want you to be confident and to think positive. But again, it's the how you go about doing it. You can't go about it in a way that's going to play on the intelligence and people's tops by saying something that is, it ain't. You know what I'm saying? Trump said, listen, we got an A plus 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 economy. Really? Do we really? That's that stuff I'm talking about. But again, he's clearly a positive guy. So, what else she said? She attributed this insight to her experience with her father, the late sports broadcaster Pat Summerall. Did y'all know that's who her father was? I don't know a lot about this woman, so I don't even know who Pat Summerall is. But if you do know, he was a sports broadcaster. He is no longer with us. He struggled with alcoholism. So characteristics in that she saw in her father, she also sees in Donald J. Trump, and maybe that's why she has a soft spot for him, because he reminds her of her father. Y'all know it be like that, even when it be something toxic or even something positive. Um, Stockholm syndrome is real. Sometimes people will still gravitate towards certain people and energies just because it's just what they know. Kind of like how someone will just continue to time after time get with people who are abusers. It's like it's a subconscious thing that they're doing. It's just that this is just it's they're not even thinking about it. So this woman, when I read that, it had me to think that she's gravitating towards an energy that's familiar with her. And I doubt she's intentionally thinking, oh, let me attach myself to Trump. It's just something that she's just doing without even thinking about it, because it's that connection, the same energy that her father had. Very interesting. So she also had expressed opinions about JD Vance. She said that he's a conspiracy theorist. She said he's been this way for a decade, and she describes his reason for supporting Trump being a sort of political. So basically, she's saying that she feels that J.D. Vance aligned himself with President Donald J. Trump for political reasons only. Because some of you may know or may not know, but J.D. Vance used to talk greasy about President Trump. He was not a supporter of President Trump the first time he ran for president. He probably wasn't even a supporter for him when he ran the second time, and then Biden got in. But I do know that in the past he has had expressed very critical thoughts and opinions about President Trump. I've heard them. I can't quote any of them, but I've heard them. He did not always like Trump. But here's the thing. I mean, I didn't vote for Trump the first time he ran for president. I voted for him the second time and the third time. So I voted for Trump 2 out of the 3 times, the last 2 times, not the first time. So I understand that. So she said she feels like he aligned himself with Trump uh, for political reasons. She compared him to Marco Rubio. Marco Rubio was one came out, was out of Florida. She was like Marco Rubio's, because remember Marco Rubio ran for president too in the past. She said Marco Rubio's um, political base more so aligns with Trump. So she feels like that was more of a natural, organic type relationship, like it made sense versus JD Vance. She said JD Vance is, listen, it's all politics. But she also said if JD Vance were to run for president and be on the ticket, no, without a doubt, she would support him. She would be in his corner. I got to thinking if she would do that if he is just the one that's pushed forward um, for the Republican Party and there was no one else. So the only alternative being like a Democrat. So by default, because I'm wondering, like, is she willing to support him on a default? You know how sometimes somebody will just support you just by default. I remember that first time Trump ran, I didn't like him or Hillary Clinton, but I voted for Hillary Clinton just by like default. Like my mind, like many people, was like the worst of two evils. Like that was my thought process then. So I voted for Hillary. Can't stand Hillary. Can't stand her. But I voted for her then because my dislike for Trump during that time was greater than my dislike for Hillary. So that's how I voted for her. So um, she also had an opinion on Elon Musk. She said he can get this smoke too. She said Elon Musk is an odd duck. She called him an odd duck. And she said that he was a avowed ketamine user. Y'all remember that was going on about in the spring when Elon was at the White House. They said that he was addicted to ketamine. Well, Susie then came out here and told all the business. She said he is. He is. I done seen him hit like he is. Um, she admitted to being initially aghast at his aggressive dismantling of the U.S. aid. What's that? The USAID, U.S. aid, calling his approach not the way I would have done it. So she was like, I knew Musk was on that stuff. I seen him. He was on that stuff. He was in here just doing the most, and I'm just like, oh my God. So, so she said, listen, she wasn't here for how Musk was moving. She was not here for how Musk was moving. But she also was not here for Pam Bondi telling the world that she had the Epstein client list. She said that Attorney General Pam Bondi whiffled on managing public expectations regarding Jeffrey Epstein files by incorrectly claiming a client list was on her desk when no list existed. Now, let's stop there. How many of y'all think that no list exists? Because me personally, I'm a believer that, see, this is why YouTube be shutting me down. But yeah, I get to tell, listen, right around now is when the YouTube start buffing, because when I get to going deep, YouTube don't be here for that. I believe there is a client list. I believe that Pam Bondi saw that list. I believe that Trump's name was on the list. So Pam just kind of backed away and then just said, oh, okay, yeah, well, there's no list. That's my belief. And going along the lines with that, Susie Wiles said that she read the Epstein files and that Trump, quote unquote, listen to this, y'all. You got to peep game. You got to listen to what people say, like the wording, because it makes sense. Y'all like this video. She said Trump is not in the files doing anything awful. She didn't say he wasn't in the files. Quote, Trump is not in the files doing anything awful. She also said Trump was wrong to claim Bill Clinton visited Epstein's private island because that was not true. She said that was not true. He was wrong for saying that. So my thing is, she didn't say that he wasn't in these files. She just said, well, he wasn't in there doing nothing awful. I'm just not convinced. I personally just don't believe that there was nothing non-compromising in there about Trump. I just don't believe it. I don't believe it. That's just my opinion. She also, for those of you who are Trump haters, she did say that unequivocally, she denied that Trump will run for a third term. She said Trump just enjoys driving people crazy by floating the idea of running a third term. So for those of you who are clutching your invisible pearls at the idea, the thought of this man running a third term, she said you can woo-saw, you can exhale, you can do all that because he's not going to do it. He just like effing with the people in true Trump style. Tim said, what is the private island? That's where the plane would the Lolita plane. I think that's what Epstein's private plane was called, the Lolita. So his private, that when you abort the Lolita, your destination was to his private island. And that's where a lot of the shenanigans and things was alleged to have been taking place over there on his private island. But the way the government is trying to kick it is that Epstein was just on the plane by himself. I guess it was just him and Ghislaine and the girls. And that was it. They didn't have no customers. There wasn't no clients. So you had the girls, and then you had Epstein, and you had Ghislaine. That's basically the way they try to present it to us. They like it wasn't no clients, it wasn't no customers, it wasn't nobody because we haven't seen no list, no names. Like they're saying there's no client list. But think about it: who operates a business, runs something without clientele? How does that even work? How does that even work? That just doesn't even sound right. You running this business, I would say, for lack of a better word, but you ain't got clients, but you're Ghislaine bringing you all these girls just for your own, just for Epstein's own personal use. Like that just don't even sound right to me. Trump did face significant backlash for the comments made by Susie Wiles. People were like, yo, did you hear what she said about you? Trump publicly defended her, stating he was not offended by her description of his personality. I guess he like, that woman ain't lying. She know me better than probably my wife. Like he really admires Susie Wiles. I've heard him say nice things about, like, my first time seeing her is when he run the president election this term, and she was on the stage, and that was my first time seeing her, knowing of her. I'd never heard of that woman before, but basically was like she's the machine behind like the whole tribe, the whole administration. I guess she's Mama Bear. So he said a lot of nice words. He was like, she's quiet. She don't like to step. She didn't even say any words like when he won. She just kind of like waved and kind of stepped to the back. So she's that one, that silent riot where she's quiet, but she's fierce. And I talked about on my channel before the Trump right now, like from what I've learned is that, you got the midterms coming up, and Trump has been going places and speaking out. I think last week, I think maybe last Monday, he was in Pennsylvania. But the directive she's given him um, is to go out there and be on the campaign like as though you're running, because they need all the supports they can get for the Republican Party. Because as we've been seeing, the Republicans, like they've been making history, and um, red states turning blue. Like I think Florida recently got their first Democrat. It's a female, also a woman president for not president. I think is she the mayor of Miami? I think I talked about it last week. Is a woman, and that was and she's Democrat. So I think the Democrat part is what like made history. Been like a lot of years since they had like a Democrat, if they've ever had one. But it was something that like made headlines with her winning that race. And I think that was Miami, Florida. So look into that. It's a white female. She won Miami, and it's for the mayor. The mayor of Miami is now a white female. Um, so basically, Susie's like, listen, Trump, I'm gonna need for you to go out there and get on the stage and talk to the people, because also what I've learned is that when it comes to the Republican Party, people typically don't show up in large numbers if Trump isn't running for something. That was some information I learned last night or to this morning when I was before preparing for this live. They said more Republicans come out to vote when he is on the ticket, like when they got to vote for him. So he himself has a big following, a lot of supporters, not necessarily it being around the Republican Party. It's been around Trump, people liking him. So Susie's like, yo, I'm gonna need for you to go and get out there and talk your talk, do what you do best, because we need to get these votes coming in for the Republican Party to make sure that we can hold on to these seats. Whether or not if it work or not, I don't know. But listen, they trying their best. So they like, listen, we gotta hold on to these seats. So I would say expect in 2026 to see Trump heavy out there on the campaign trail, talking to people, encouraging people to register to vote Republican, all of that jazz. So expect that. The Trump effect. I guess we'll call it the Trump effect. We'll see if the Trump effect, if he'll be able to pull it off. Will he be able to, um, keep the Senate primarily Republican? We're gonna see, but that's the directive that he's been given from what I've learned from Susie. So, but yeah, the Trump administration, they're very hopeful for the economy for 2026. Me, I see a lot of things that don't appear to be the most positive when it comes to like the numbers with jobs and things like that. As for me, for my personal situation, I've been blessed enough to where it hasn't like impacted like me or like my family members and things like that with these economy changes, things with jobs and things like that. Um, I just hope that at this point we're at a place where things are just going to go up versus down, because I feel like we've been down the bar low enough. Like we got to go up in 2026. And from what I've learned, that is President Trump's plan is for things to kind of go up in 2026 for the American people. We got the interest rates. They got slashed what last week up by a quarter. Trump is going to replace Jerome Powell. He's the guy. I can't remember his exact title. Who handles all that with the rates and things like that? It's either out of Kevin or Kevin. Both candidates, the top two candidates, both names are Kevin. So it's going to be Kevin. So the next Jerome Powell gonna be Kevin. So we gonna see if people gonna be out here trying to give Kevin that work. But Trump feels like definitely the interest rates could be lower, but we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. But he's feeling very optimistic about just things changing, with the economy and things like that as a result of like these new things that he's doing with the tax cuts, the tax credits, the change in the person who handles like the rates or whatever, the Jerome Powell situation, his replacement. Like he's feeling very positive about where things are going to go. Um, Me, I'm going to sit on the positive side. I mean, I've talked to you all about AI. I feel like that people can. I think it's just going to be a matter of like what you do with this information that's being put out here as to how you can better protect yourself, how you can better be prepared for what's to come. And to me, is rooted in becoming educated on these shifts that are inevitable, becoming educated on the impacts of AI, and becoming educated on how to use AI or what AI means, how it impacts you, all of that. You got to get out of your comfort zone and be willing to do something different, because the old way of doing things is no longer work. We're shifting into a new era of have doing things in a different way. Change is inevitable. And our change today is rooted heavy in AI. But some people feel like this job market, I've been listening, there are some experts think that it's not really super bad because of the AI, but because a lot of companies during the pandemic just over hired. They staffed. They hired too many people. That's so you got some who feel like, oh, AI's taking over jobs, but then you got some who feel like, no, these companies overstaffed. They're hiding behind AI, but no, they overstaffed. In 2020, 22, 21, um, people were like, I think they said like 13%. I think they said it maybe like 23 around that time. It was about 13% of people like leaving their jobs, moving around. What they called it, the mass exodus. Y'all remember that during that time where people was changing jobs, leaving jobs? I changed my employer in 22. Yep, in 2022, I changed employers. I was at one place for like 10 years, and then I changed to a different employer. So they were like, now it's about like 11% of people who change jobs. So people are leaving their jobs at a slower rate. So there's like they have a slower hiring rate, and then they have a slower firing rate as well. So they're just kind of holding on to what they have, but they're removing people more than like with then they're adding people. So that's why some experts feel like they just hired too many people. So like these kids who are coming out of college, they're caught up in that because it's just like these employers, they had hired too many people over the past like 5 years, and now they're kind of like thinning things out. And then there's no need to hire these young people because it's just like, yeah, we're staffed up, we're fine. We don't need to add. We don't need to increase our staff count. Like that's so it's interesting. So it's AI or people just hire too many people. I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you think. Explore that. But that's something that's being put out there right now. Very interesting stuff. So yes, that's my live today. Those are the updates I have. So listen, file your taxes. If you are American tax paying person and you file taxes, you have another reason to file. One more reason to file. Get some money back, but to get more money back. So I'm thinking you all, if you owe, I would imagine if you owe money, they probably just gonna apply it to your bill. So something you might not get money back if you owe taxes. Because usually if you owe, like, and you got some money come back, they just gonna apply it to the bill you got. So if you don't receive it, that might have happened. So keep that in mind as well. If you owed, but make sure you talk that through with your tax preparer. See how that impacts you if you are expecting to get the 1,000 or 2,000, if you're expecting to get it in your bank account or a check in the mail, or if it will just be applied to your existing tax debt, because many people have tax debt. So it's unfortunate for those who may get caught up in that and they don't actually receive it. I wonder how many people will be impacted that way. How many people owe taxes? I guess it would have to come down to the federal tax. I imagine this tax credit is going to fall on the federal side. So I guess if you owe only state and not federal, you might be good. But some people listen, oh, both like shit, child. Both of them, everybody looking for me. I owe state, federal, like so. Some people may fall in both, situations. But make sure you ask your tax preparer about that. So therefore, you have the correct expectation on, how you're going to receive your money. But either way, as a tax preparer, as a taxpayer, you will get the credit. You will get it. It's just a matter of you're getting it in your bank account or if it's just going to be applied to your debt as a credit. So listen, don't say I ain't put you up on game. They talking about these polls out here. 58% disapprove of Trump, 42 approve. That's according to the NBC polls, and the AP News polls has 31% approve for Trump and 67 disapprove. So listen, I'm here for him in some things, and I'm here for him in not. So I haven't thrown him away completely. But listen, listen, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. I just try my best to take it all in. It's a lot. So y'all stay tapped in, stay vigilant, like, share, subscribe to the channel. Again, I do Car Chronicles on Tuesdays and Wednesdays on my ride into the office, and every now and then I grace you all on this screen with additional lives in between. So it just depends on, what I got going on. So lesson of the day. My ask of you is to work on becoming a better student. How about that? Work on becoming a better student, honor students. Are you an honor student? You're an honor student if you're subscribed to this channel. Subscribe to the channel. I also have paid memberships, $2.99. I say we got the Temu prices, so you have priority comments, being read and things like that. So yeah, I had a lot for you all today. Today was a good day. Sometimes YouTube, mess with me and mess with the live. So I appreciate you all. I appreciate you all for tapping in. Spread the gospel. And you all take care of yourselves and one another. Heavy on the taking care of yourself. And thank you, awesome mods. Thank you all for my new subscribers, returning subscribers. I thank you all. I thank you all. Who was that? Blind Rich says, the problem is rich people, right? Rich people is out here thinking we shouldn't even be entitled to water. I agree with that. The richest, that's why I say we're divided by a social economic class, not by race. The haves versus the have nots. Which one are you? So I'll catch you all on the next broadcast.